Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cole. It's early Sunday evening, August 3rd, and this will be the week 6 video for Humanities 2333 Philosophy of Life for summer 2025. Okay, everybody, what we have coming up, we have a couple of weeks left in the term. Grades are due on the 18th, which is in 2 weeks. If you all see this on Monday the 4th, that will be 2 weeks away, with the final exam scheduled for the previous Friday the 15th, I believe, but you can double check your syllabus on that. It'll be around that time. Everybody, what we have this week, we're starting off with a discussion, Monday and Tuesday the 4th and 5th. That will be connecting up Aristotelian ethics and Donald Trump. Now, there's an article you can try to access, but if it turns out you can't reach it, it shouldn't make that much difference because I've quoted the article in the announcement I put out for the discussion. So it'd be nice. It's a very short article. It'd be nice if you look at all of it, but it may not absolutely be necessary. Okay, so see what you think of the issue raised in discussion 4 on Monday and Tuesday the 4th and 5th. It's tomorrow and Tuesday as I'm speaking to you Sunday evening, the 3rd. And then once that is done, we will try to get the announcement out for the fifth and last discussion, which will take place during the last week of the term. All right, now everybody, you have a second written assignment due Monday the 11th. Okay, it's today's Sunday the 3rd, tomorrow's Monday the 4th. That'll be in about a week, depending on when you were looking at this announcement. So take a look at that. The assignment is up in the modules area of the course website. There's a summary of the assignment for you to look at. It'll help you if you look ahead to the last week of the syllabus and perhaps look at some of the material under lecture 15, unit 15 on mortality. Excuse me, everybody, mortality. That may help you with that assignment. And I think the assignment itself, the assignment description, and the area for you to post the assignment is under Unit 15, but double check me on that. It's near the end of the course. Assignment description, written assignment 2 on mortality. And so take a look at that. All right, so on the syllabus this week, we have Units 13 and 14. Unit 13 is on life decisions, and we're trying to tie that up to Aristotelian ethics. I am basing that set of notes in part on a book by philosopher Thomas Herke, The Best Things in Life, A Guide to What Really Matters. Now, it so happens when I was in graduate school over 40 years ago, Professor Herke was my teacher. So he's someone I'm at least acquainted with. And what Herke tries to do in this book is to say, there's several good things you could pursue in your life. And some people tell us we ought to try to have it all. Maybe we could have a little bit of all of it, but we might want to prioritize some of those, maybe at the expense of others, depending on what our talents and inclinations are. Those things include pleasure, knowledge, achievement, moral virtue, and love and friendship. And he discusses all these intrinsically good things in his book, and I try to summarize that in the class notes for Unit 13. Okay? Then for Unit 14, we discuss Kantian ethics, the ethics of Immanuel Kant. We talked about Kant's contribution to epistemology several weeks ago before the midterm exam. He also makes an important contribution to ethics. Now, Kant's theory is the main alternative to consequentialism. Okay? Now, Kant is famous for saying that your duty to be ethical, it's a duty that you have, and it's categorical. Kant is known for saying that your ethical obligation is a categorical imperative. In other words, you might say, the consequences be damned. You have an obligation to be ethical, come what may, no matter the consequences, especially the consequences to yourself, you might say. And in the class notes, I use a technical term that I think you'll see in the class notes. Kantian ethics is described as deontological as opposed to consequentialist. Okay. De-ontological, deontological. Okay. Non-consequentialist would be another term for it. Okay. You have a duty, it's an absolute duty to be ethical. Okay. You don't stop and calculate whether it's going to pay to be ethical or not. It's an absolute binding duty on everybody. Okay, so compare and contrast that to the consequentialist approach to ethics that we find from Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill, and maybe in a more sophisticated way from Aristotle. Compare that to the views of Kant, non-consequentialist ethics. Okay? And that then takes us through the second to last week of the course. Okay? And we got a discussion Monday and Tuesday the 4th and 5th, and we're looking ahead to a written assignment that's due on the 11th, and the final exam later that week. There will also be a 5th and final discussion that week, and I'll get the announcement out on that after we complete discussion 4. The next discussion will be the 5th and last one. So, coming to the end of the term, some people may have assignments missing or may need to make up the midterm exam. I'd have to look at the grade book to double check on that, but if that applies to you, contact me. I will try to be getting messages out to those to whom that applies. Okay, because we're coming to the end of the term before we know it. Grades are due Monday the 18th, which may be 2 weeks from the day that you were looking at this announcement if you look at it on Monday the 4th. So, take it easy, study hard. I hope you will take part in discussion 4 and get that assignment in on Monday the 11th. Contact me as needed with any questions, problems, or issues through the course website or at david.cole@opsu.edu. And we'll be talking to you at least one more time about a week from today. Take it easy.